it's more than just milk. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Caitlin Hill, and if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button and like and share this video. And if you're feeling extra generous today, screenshot this video and post it in your stories on Instagram and tag me in it. That would be just so amazing. Okay, so I have been breastfeeding the twins, of course, since they were born, which was 21 months ago. I had no issues with breastfeeding the twins. I didn't have any supply issues. From the get-go, I was very open to seeing where my journey went with it. I knew that there was a lot of mixed messaging around, you know, whether or not I should use supplements or not. And like, to be honest, actually the message was mostly just like that I was gonna have to use formula and to supplement my breast milk. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just that I never had to do that. And I definitely thought about it and considered it. I never found a formula that truly spoke to me and that I completely aligned with. And so I just continued to exclusively breastfeed two babies at the same time, tandem nursed. A lot of the time I don't tandem nurse as much anymore because it just sort of ends up being like a little bit of a yeah, let's say circus. It's like they're literally going in like two different directions, and one is like twisting off this way, one's twisting off the other way, and then they're like kind of like fighting each other off the boob, and it's just like a little bit much. So at this point, no more tandem nursing. I did for a really long time. I always kept them both on the same schedule. So if I was going to be nursing one baby, I was going to be nursing the other baby. That worked really well for us. Always said that I'll continue to go for as long as I can, and it's more than just milk. It is comfort as well, and it's comfort for the baby and for mama. It's just one of those things I feel is very personal, and there's no like set time that you have to be done, and that, oh my gosh, like they have teeth, you shouldn't be breastfeeding anymore, like yada yada yada. There's like so much chatter out there about like where you should be breastfeeding, how you should be breastfeeding, blah blah blah. You know, my mom gave me actually like the best advice when it came to breastfeeding. My first daughter, Safia, I was pregnant with her, and I was with this midwifery, and before I even had her, like gave birth to her, they had already linked me up with this lactation consultant. And she was sort of like talking about breastfeeding and talking about how many people had issues with it. And my mom, I had told my mom that we went to talk to this lactation consultant because it was sort of just like part of the midwifery program that we were with. And my mom was like, don't even go there. Like, just don't even think that you're gonna have a problem with it. Like, it's just the most natural thing in the world. Allow the baby to come to you and don't even think about it. And so I really took that to heart. I've never overthought breastfeeding. It's always just been like, yeah, okay, I'm doing it. My body knows how to do it. It's gonna make the right amount of milk, an abundance of milk, or you know, the right amount that is needed. And that's like the exact attitude I went in with breastfeeding the babies. For sure, I had some nights where I was up at like 2 a.m. being like, what is the best formula? What can I get for them? And you know, for me, it just has always been easier to just whip out a boob. I don't have to like clean or sterilize bottles. I didn't have to think about the temperature of the milk. You know, it was very like, here you go. Here's what you need right here. I definitely used the Haka a lot. That thing is literally like the best thing since sliced bread. If I was gonna be feeding it one baby on one side, I would get the letdown from the other side, then I'd put that in a bottle and give it to Matisse or whoever else to feed that the second baby at the same time. And that was just like, that was sort of like the closest that I even really got to pumping, actually, because I tried to pump for a while because I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Again, there's lots of like narratives around breastfeeding, and it's like, I thought that I was supposed to be pumping because I thought it was going to make my life easier, but I just didn't like it, and I just don't like pumping. So I did it, you know, several times. This was like, yeah, that's not for me. Like, I am not getting the serotonin rush that I, you know, would have from breastfeeding the babies. And so it's sort of like, I just felt like I was just this like cow with the noise, and it just wasn't for me. So again, I've been exclusively breastfeeding for 21 months. I know that doesn't mean that they don't have solids, because they do. It just means that I have never used a formula or I haven't supplemented my milk with anything. That being said, it's been demanding. Yeah, for sure. It's demanding. Always being on call, or, you know, on demand is what they call it, is sort of how I was always breastfeeding them up until it got around the point of, I want to say maybe 17 months. I started being like, on demand is not working for me anymore. I'm always kind of going in between, like, how much am I giving myself and how much am I receiving, and going back and forth between the two, especially like when it just comes to motherhood in general. Like, I find it can be a lot of just give all the time. And then it just reaches this point where it's like, I don't have anything left to give. And I have to therefore create boundaries and then fill my own cup in order to be able to give to them. So I felt like when I was feeding on demand for, you know, whatever it was, like 15 or 16 months, somewhere around there, I felt like my cup was just so empty anytime they wanted it. And with 2 babies, like, think about it. I would actually get stuck on the floor. I would say to Matisse in the morning, I would come downstairs with them and I would be like, babe, I've literally been stuck on the floor just breastfeeding 2 babies for like an hour. Like, I can't even get up and make breakfast for them because I would get into this like breastfeeding cycle where it was like I'd feed one and then the next one would want to come on, the next one, and then they would go and stay, and they would, like, you know, it's just with 2, it's a completely different ballgame. Yeah, I stopped doing the on-demand feeds there, and at that point became much more strict. Like, okay, it's just in the morning, it's just before the nap, and it's at nighttime before bed. So was with that schedule for a while, and then little by little it just slowly started to naturally evolve and change. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm done with the nap time feed. It just was like getting to be so much, and with both of them and their size and their strength, to be like tandem nursing them, yeah, no, this is not gonna work. I think that was around 18 months that I stopped the nap time feed. Cut that feed out and noticed that they didn't really react that strongly to me dropping that feed, which probably because they were just so tired, they just wanted to go to sleep. And then just recently, like I want to say in the last week and a half, we've dropped the morning feed. And again, it's not like I'm following some kind of schedule or program or like listening to what anyone else is telling me what to do. This is like purely instinctual action on my part. It's very like, okay, I feel that we are ready to move on from this stage. When Matisse, like, obviously comes from a good place, but he's always like, just stop breastfeeding, or just stop, like, you don't have to do it anymore. And I know where he's coming from because it is so demanding on me. For the mother, it's like this way deeper connection, and it's way more than just breastfeeding. Like, it is so connected to my biology of, like, that's been my purpose. That's been my purpose for the last 21 months, is breastfeeding them. So to just be like, just stop, like, it's very emotional, it's very personal, and it's like, like, I know it, like, for sure could bring so much freedom just like that if I stop, but I don't, at the same time, they're only going to be this age once, and then they're going to be teenagers and adults, and it's such a short period of time when you look at it. Like, however long you choose to breastfeed for, it's not forever. And so I just don't want to stop before I'm ready. And so at this point, I'm still doing the nighttime feed, which is right before bed. And that is like, feels like more than enough right now. It's like sort of coming back to this like connection time at night that we get to bond together again. I actually feed them one at a time now. That's where we are right now, and I have no idea how much longer I'm going to be breastfeeding for. I do weaning in a very gentle way. It's not something that is forced or feels unnatural. I remember like when I was going through like weaning the night feeds, I actually had mastitis like twice. And yeah, again, I felt that was just my body being like, oh, maybe you just went like a little bit too quick there with the dropping of the feeds. And you know, like, my body is so connected to them and their bodies and where they're at in the stage. Like, we're still so intertwined together, and it is such a big shift, like hormonally, emotionally, on so many different levels. And so I definitely think I'm going to be doing something this time around where I'm like just honoring the beautiful relationship that I've had with breastfeeding and letting it go. Just like with anything in life, you know, it's just like you look at Mother Nature, we're constantly like letting go and blooming again, and then you know, letting go when the fall comes again, and it's just this constant like cycle, and it's definitely something to not just like brush off and pretend like it's nothing. It is so much more than that. I don't know how much longer it's gonna be. It could be a week, it could be a year. I don't think it'll be a year, but you never know. I think I'll probably for sure go to at least the spring. For me, like when they get colds or flus or whatever they're going through, you know, kids get so many bugs. Breastfeeding is just the best thing for them. And I've actually noticed that when Safia and the babies all get the same thing, that the babies are better way faster because they're still breastfeeding. Safia, it takes her a couple days longer to get over it. So I do think that there is a correlation there. So anyways, that's where I'm at in my weaning journey, my very, very, very gentle weaning journey, very slow. I feel very just emotional thinking about it and talking about it because I clearly am not ready to be done yet. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and like and share this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Ciao for now.